ask everyone to please help create a climate of respect here. You are speaking to please refrain from personal attacks, speaking out of turn, shouting, clapping, pacing. Keep your signs to 8.5 by 11 inches. And do please stop speaking if a point of order is called so the chair may rule on the point of order and the record is clear. If rules are not followed, I may interrupt speakers to call for compliance. If compliance with the rules doesn't occur, then I may pause the meeting. If there's an actual disruption, I will give a warning. If the disruption persists or happens again, the person will be asked to leave. And if you are here to testify on a public hearing item, which we will get to later in the agenda, when you come forward, please do state your name, your community council, the area of the municipality in which you live, and stay on topic and direct comments to me or other folks here on the dais. I will interrupt if you're off topic. With into the addendum. We will now move on to appearance requests and initial audience participation. We have one appearance request. Mr. Andrew Gray. Welcome, you have 3 minutes.
Thank you. My name is Andrew Gray, and I represent Anchorage Action, an organization I co-founded with Yara Silvers. I grew up in a small town in Texas, and our community revolved around church. When I was in high school, we were taught a Sunday school unit on the sinfulness of homosexuality. That teaching centered around Leviticus, chapter 20, verse 13. As for the man who lies with a male as lying with a woman, they have committed a detestable thing. They shall surely be put to death. My mother posted that verse on our family's refrigerator, and I had to look at it morning and night. This was stressful for a teenager, coming to terms with his sexuality, but luckily I had an escape, the library. The Friendswood Public Library was a safe refuge where I had access to books and multimedia that showed me that I deserved more than a death sentence, that I could lead a fulfilling life. Libraries are not just sanctuaries for members of the LGBTQ community. For immigrants and indigenous people, the library has items in many different languages. For our unhoused brothers and sisters, the library provides a warm, safe place to be during the day with access to computers and the internet. Unfortunately, there are forces at work in Anchorage to restrict our freedoms and access to the library. Prior to becoming deputy director, Judy Elledge made many social media posts that were derogatory to marginalized groups. Since her involvement in the Anchorage Public Library system, there have been reports of books being removed from circulation without following the proper protocols. Library employees have left their jobs due to the bullying environment she has fostered. I understand people like Judy Elledge. They remind me of my mother, and the truth is, I love my mother, but she shouldn't be part of a library administration, and neither should Judy Elledge. I will now present to the administration and the assembly.
Madam Chair, I'd like to do a point of order, please.
Ms. Allard, what rule do you believe has been broken?
I would ask Mr. Gray not to take personal attacks on an individual, please.
These are his 3 minutes, and we have provided members of the public to comment on how they believe the...
You're being a hypocrite.
Ms. Allard, you are out of order. I will ask Mr. Gray to confine his remarks to the qualifications and what is germane. I have not heard an attack on an individual outside of comments concerning social media. Go ahead, Mr. Gray.
Thank you. I will now present to the administration and the assembly a petition to remove Judy Elledge from her appointed position in the library. Sorry, 3 of those copies need to go to the administration. There's 15 copies. The petition is signed by 1,200.
Madam Chair, point of order, please.
What procedural
Mr. Gray
rule
had
do you
called
believe
Judy
has
Elledge
been
a
broken?
bully. Had called Judy Elledge a bully.
I didn't. I called it bullying behavior, ma'am.
Is taking personal attacks upon a member of the community and an employee.
Thank you, Ms. Allard. Mr. Gray.
Yes, ma'am. And if you read the quotes, they're from other people and they're reported. I would never do that. She reminds me of my mother. I love my mother, but she shouldn't be in library administration. Thank you. 1,200 library patrons have signed the petition, many of whom are here tonight. We want to maintain our and our children's freedom to decide for ourselves what to read. We want our library workers treated with respect. We want a library that is welcoming to all, especially our most marginalized groups. Please stand up for freedom, respect, and kindness. Remove Judy Elledge from library leadership. Also, the petition is still open and we welcome additional signers. Thank you for allowing me to testify.
Thank you for your participation.
Madam Chair, I'm in queue for a question.
Go ahead, Ms. Allard. I do want to point out we have 10 minutes left to initial audience participation, so
Thank you.
please be
Mr. Gray,
brief.
do you believe that the books have been censored to the point where they're being removed from the library?
So the reports I've heard was that they've been placed in her office for review, and that there's a specific process for removing books for review, and that the certain books that have been removed are usually of an LGBTQ nature. So I feel like it's my particular group that might be being targeted by having these materials removed.
Thank you. They have not been removed and they will not be removed. They'll be
Point of
put in
order,
a different
point of
area,
order,
but they
Madam
will
Chair,
not be
point
removed
of
from
order.
the
Thank you.
library.
Point
Thank
of
you.
If
order.
everyone would please stop. Yes, Mr. Constant?
The member from Eagle River is testifying during audience participation. It's out of order.
Thank you, Mr. Constant. I will remind members to please refrain from doing anything but asking brief, clarifying questions to members of the public during this time. Okay, thank you for your participation. Welcome. Please come forward and state